All right, we are back with another episode of Wealth Building Made Simple. We got Susanna Gibb with the Gibb Agency here. What's going on, Susanna?
I am looking forward to the weekend, Philip, as I know you are too.
Absolutely, it's going to be a fun weekend. My niece comes in town,
Yay.
but you have a great story about a personal articles floater, right? That we're going to like change the names and backgrounds and details.
Yes, this was not our client, but this was another agent's client. They insured the ring because you can insure a ring and it was like $98,000 ring. So you have to get it appraised and turn in the appraisal. But once you list it on the policy like that, it's covered if it's just like if you just lose it. Like you see those people who take off their rings in public bathrooms to wash their hands. I personally want to throttle them, but I see them do it and I'm like, you're going to lose your ring. But if
Mm.
they've insured it, it would cover it. So he insures the ring and they go to do the proposal on the beach. And I don't know what happens on the beach. I kind of wish I would have. But apparently it didn't go well. And the fiance, in this very dramatic turn, ex fiance, throws the ring into the ocean.
Oh, what?
Yeah, $98,000 ring. So the client calls back and he's like, I need to make this claim. And they're like, it's an intentional act. It's not covered. Bye
What?
bye ring. All gone.
What?
$98,000 out the window or
Oh,
in the ocean, I should say.
wow.
Yeah.
That would take lots of meditation. I'll have to immediately just leave me alone. I have to sit here.
Yeah. Now, the difference would be like I heard a story about this restaurant in Florida where somebody proposed and the ring fell through the deck. Now, that's an accident. So that would actually be covered. Although, when the ring was recovered a couple years later, they did like all this excavation or something and they found the ring and they were able to identify it and give it back to the person. At some point, you're expected to pay that back if you've made the claim, which is interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had another client who called and he was like, listen, my Rolex is gone. I can't find it. And we had it listed on the policy. And so we start to go through the claim, and the underwriters will call and say, hey, listen, your client's making a claim. Is this a legitimate claim? Because, it's a $10,000 Rolex. This is not just like a walk in the park easy claim because it also requires a level of trust. And I was like, no, this is, it's a good client. It's a legitimate claim. So they go through the process of paying it out and he finds it. He was like, oh my God, I forgot. I put it in this pocket for safekeeping. And so they reversed the claim. And no, I think he'd gotten the money and he had to send the money back.
Mm. Wow.
So
So personal articles, that is that gonna be basically like your personal collectibles, like so things that you
yeah,
personally
so
own that are valuable?
absolutely. So rings, wedding rings, jewelry, bracelets, cameras, art, bikes. These are sometimes computers. These are the most common things that we see on the personal articles floater. And you also, when you turn it in, you give a value of this ring is worth this amount. And you're required to update it every year because whatever you list in that policy is what the insurance company is going to pay. Like you guys decide on the amount. And then if it gets lost or damaged or whatever, then it's paid. So if you think about things like art, which is, really subjective,
Mhm.
you may have paid $2,000 at that art fair for it, but there's no way for an adjuster later to be like, was it really worth 2,000? So that's why, especially on art, that everybody decides in the beginning, this is what we're going to pay if something happens to it.
So you need to list it, right? You're saying you have to list what you own, on there. And we're gonna get into this, but this as you're talking about it, this is why I know the insurance industry is gonna get into the blockchain technology because it would be very easy for them to, because blockchain is just a database, right? Which is separate from the assets that are built from it. But you can literally like, think of it like a serial number. Like I can take a picture of my, uh, we just bought it's not an authentic, it's a remade one of like the Prince Purple Rain album because we got like a, um, what do you call it? A player, a vinyl player. Forget what it's called. So we bought the album, but you can take a picture of it, and then say, "Hey, Susanna, put this on a blockchain of everything that Philip and Kelly owns with the specific
Mhm.
deal." So then that way, it's on there. But my point is, I know you have to list everything, so that's interesting.
Well, the
So if it's not listed on there and we lose it, like I got a special pair of shoes, one of a kind, original Adidas.
Well,
Oh,
shoes are interesting because if you wear them, they're not gonna retain their value. Because I had
yeah,
somebody ask me, they were like, "Hey, I just bought these really expensive Nakona boots. They were $1,200 boots. Can I insure them?" And I said, "Well, you can insure them if you put them up on a shelf and they become art, but if you wear them, you're just gonna wear them out and they're not gonna cover it that way."
got it. Okay. So then, and we talked a little bit before, and this will be another whole probably episode as it develops out because we know there's not a real solution for it. But what's the challenge with insuring non-fungible tokens or NFTs?
I think the biggest challenge for insurance companies is what triggers the loss, you know? So if in a home fire, for example, that's pretty obvious. There was a fire, things burned, that triggers the loss. A theft triggers the loss. So if it's this electronic thing, what what triggers the loss?
It would be a hack if somebody stole your basically password seed phrases. Then they control your art, your digital art, your NFT, and so it would be similar to, you know, a cyber crime like cyber theft.
Well, and that's one of the things that they're like, well, is this a cyber issue or is this a property issue?
Mm,
If it's a cyber theft, how do you ensure that level of property to begin with?
yeah,
So
yeah,
cyber is a real tricky,
it is
um,
tricky. It is tricky.
and cyber theft has gone up. I think it's 180%. The FBI has reported. So anybody who has a cyber policy now has seen huge increases,
Yeah,
and people who don't have cyber really need to. I only have one personal home insurance or personal company that offers cyber, but everybody needs cyber.
yeah. Cyber is a difficult one because if you're like a nerd like me and you self custody your own, crypto Bitcoin, then you know the way you self custody it responsibly kind of negates the need for insurance if you do it right. And then if you don't do it right, it's super easy to steal your stuff. So I'm like, why would an insurance company insure that? Because like, it's going to get stolen.
Well, and previously on insurance policies, money and securities are often excluded. So, like if you hide a bunch of money under the mattress, that's not really a great place to store your money. But if you have this money exclusion on your policy already, but then you have this crypto thing coming in, um, it just it's a real interesting wrinkle, and I'm going to be fascinated to see how it plays out as insurance companies adapt to the environment and people wanting to have this covered.
Yeah.
Because
No,
insurance companies, if they can figure out a way to make money on it, they will do it.
yeah, they absolutely. Hey, I think a good business move is for them to just become the uh uh the custody solution for storing the assets, right? Because then it's like, hey, if you don't want to self custody it, use our solution that you're going to pay for, and then that way they know it's done right and they can charge you for storage, and it's the
I'm
same thing. But
I'm
we'll
sure
see.
they'll figure it out. Like, at some point, wine was really challenging to ensure. There were so many restrictions, but now because so many people have their own wine storage and stuff, that a lot of carriers offer it now that didn't. So I have to imagine that crypto and the NFTs are gonna go the same way.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate you. Let everybody know where they can reach you if they want more information.
Absolutely. www.giveagencydallas.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.